This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time!
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah!
I finished these fights.
Give me a hell yeah!
Top Rope Nation.
Learn to love it. It's the best thing going today.
Finally, it's been far too long. We're back in the saddle again. Top Rope Nation on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, here to preview the greatest named wrestling pay-per-view of all time, WWE Great Balls of Fire, this Sunday on the WWE Network. I am Ryan Drosty of TopRopePress.com, joined here as always by, first off, you see him down there wearing the shades, doing his best hot stuff Eddie Gilbert impression, Kyle Ross in the house. Kyle, how you feeling tonight?
Not feeling well, I'll be honest with you.
If you're watching this here live on YouTube, that is not a bathrobe. He actually has a brown hoodie on. He's got the shades on.
Well, I am. I'm sick. And not just of people complaining about the greatest wrestling promotion of all time, the WWE. We'll get to that in a little bit. I'm definitely sick of that, but no, I'm a little under the weather. Battling the cold.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate it that you're powering through that to be with us tonight. It's been 3 weeks since we've been on the air, so
no problem.
We couldn't do it without you. And also joining us here, down there in the other corner on your screen here on YouTube, bobbing around, bobbing and weaving, Justin enjoying himself. Justin, what's going on?
Oh, man. So in honor of the current WWE U.S. champion and the Johnny New Japan United States champion.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Canada.
We've got a Canada hat on. Yes, that's excellent. I think I've shared that story. I think I've shared my Canadian stories on this show before, so I'm not going to go into that. But I appreciate that you actually do own a Canada hat. Where did that come from?
Canada.
I mean, like, did you pick that up in your recent vacation up there?
That is correct.
Okay, very nice. Kyle, thoughts?
I picked up these very cheap USA shades at a 4th of July party on Sunday.
Kyle,
Will Ryan pull out a sombrero on this telecast? Stay tuned.
We're going to find out
the room.
We're going to find out what team of Spring Stampede he's on.
By the way, I was watching an old, I think it was like an old Power Hour clip from 1990, the NWA Power Hour.
Power Hour, be careful with that terminology.
It was Ric Flair versus the Z-Man. And Jim Cornette, to hype Mil Mascaras' appearance on the impending clash, said, do you know why this was to JR? Do you know why 1,000 Mexicans invaded the Alamo? And JR just knew this was going to be bad. He's like, oh no, why? And Jim Cornette said they only had one truck.
Oh my God. If you follow Jim Cornette on Twitter, it's not that surprising, I guess.
Yes. We've come a long way in wrestling commentary, haven't we?
That's terrible. This is why people were ashamed to be fans for so many years.
Yes.
I'm guessing, Kyle, by your intro that were you not impressed by the New Japan shows in Los Angeles over the weekend? Or you made a point to say the greatest wrestling promotion of all time, WWE.
Oh, well, it is. I mean, you can like two things. You don't have to pick a side.
I know. I'm just trying to get you going.
I am fired. This, to me, is the best B show in terms of build I think they've ever done.
Oh, yeah. It's a great card Sunday. Yeah, we're going to run it down, give our predictions. I can see a couple of these matches giving us some pretty lengthy conversations tonight if Kyle's sickness will allow it. So before we get after that, guys, if you're listening on iTunes, hit the subscribe button, leave us a rating. We'd really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down there. You'll never miss a live broadcast. We appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us live on YouTube, on demand before the show, whatever it is. So, guys, let's start right after it. Let's get to the card. By the way, at the end of the show tonight, we will have an interview for you. So if you're watching live, you'll have to tune back in because we are going to record that and add that to the broadcast here later on. So check us out back on YouTube or the podcast there on iTunes, Podbean, wherever you get your podcast. So stay tuned for that. All right. Just start off with the card, I guess. Well, by the way, what'd you guys think of Raw on Monday night? Justin, what'd you think of the show?
Missed it. Didn't see it. I watched SmackDown, which SmackDown was fantastic, but I totally missed Raw.
Okay, Kyle.
I thought it was good. It wasn't as good as the previous 2 weeks, but that would be asking a lot.
I mean,
like I said, there were some clear highlights. I mean, they've done just a great job with 3 feuds going into this show. So,
yeah. I thought Samoa Joe just came off like a big time star on that show Monday night. Easily the standout star.
Yes,
Pretty sure our review on Top Rope Press listed him as a standout star. If not, it should have for sure. So I thought it was a pretty good show. I agree, not as good as the last couple of weeks, but pretty good go home edition of the show. I think the Joe Lesnar part, obviously the highlight. So if we run through this card here, Raw started out with Enzo Amore giving a promo that might have went a little long, but it was a decent promo for his match with Big Cass this Sunday, following their awesome breakup a couple weeks ago. By the way, I don't think we've even had a show since then. I don't think we even talked about the breakup. What do you guys think about how that was executed and done?
I thought they did a terrific job, especially with the way they built it. Like Enzo actually apologized. He's like, yeah, dude, you're right. I am kind of an ass. Let's get back together. Let's try this again. And then he turned on him again. I thought it worked really well.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, that segment 2 weeks ago was very, very good. I think, when Cass was doing the mock reconciliation, I don't think anyone really bought it. But then he did the shtick, and then they were walking back up the aisle. And I think people started to believe it then. And I'm like, is he going to turn on him? Is he going to turn on? And then he did. I was like, okay, there we go. Because it would have been a disastrous move to just, have him reunite. Even though, obviously the plan would have been to turn anyway. But, Cass he hit the ball out of the park 3 weeks ago with that promo when he turned on him. And then the other segment 2 weeks ago was great. And I think Enzo did a hell of a job last week with that promo. Yeah, maybe that little adage spiel was unnecessary, but that's just picking nits as far as I'm concerned. This is that's one of the 3 matches I'm really looking forward to here, even though we all know what the result's going to be.
Yeah, I think Cass going over is pretty obvious here. But what I wanted to talk about this match is, where is Enzo Amore going to be when this feud's over? Are you worried for the future of his career? Because the guy can talk, obviously. We've talked at length on this show before about his limitations in the ring. But if you can talk, it can usually take you pretty far in professional wrestling. Do you think Enzo Amore is going to end up sliding down the card? Do you think he has any chance at all to be a star on the caliber that Big Cass is probably going to be in the future, Kyle?
No, probably just because they don't see it, they being WWE. I really think the best thing for all parties, and I thought of this right before we went live, is to do some sort of injury angle here where Cass takes Enzo out. Because I don't know how far, obviously the goal is probably the top of the card, but I don't know how quickly they want to get him there. But with Big Cass, I don't think you want to keep doing Enzo versus Cass matches. I think you just kind of want to do this one. And then Cass, I don't know, I could see him working like Big Show at SummerSlam. But at the same time, it would make no sense for Enzo to be on the roster, just not working Cass. So I thought back to Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, one of the most famous breakups of all time. And I really thought that, and part of this was Marty's own demons, that what helped Shawn's initial heel run as a single go so well is Marty wasn't around. Shawn kind of created his own persona, and he didn't have to worry about being tied to Marty all the time. So I would do an injury angle here, keep Enzo off TV for I don't know how long. Obviously they're going to pay the guy, they're going to want to use him, but yeah, to answer your question, he'll be a lower card guy, but he doesn't really fit with the cruiserweights either, is his issue. He's small, but he doesn't fit in that division. So I don't know what the answer is, but there's a place for him.
I would like to see like a babyface dangerous alliance kind of deal with him, where he can kind of put together his own little unit to maybe go after Cass. I've complained before that there isn't enough factions anyways, so let him put one together.
Yeah,
that could work. To Kyle's point, I was going to ask him if he thought Enzo would be better off being sent to SmackDown eventually, like if he was off TV for months with an injury angle, and then just bring him on fresh somewhere else, get him away from Cass.
Yeah, maybe because the issue will be, like with Undertaker and Kane, like it was always like so like that storyline that they started way back in like 97. I mean, obviously I'm going like I could probably use a more modern example, but this one popped in my head. It was always going to be so weird when you do an angle like that. It's weird when the two guys aren't married to each other, given the nature of the storyline that they're brothers. And a lot of times they were married to each other, whether it was as opponents or partners. But, we see it now modern with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Everyone always kind of complained it was supposed to be that big blow off. And here they are. They've been on the, they stayed on Raw when they did the initial brand split. And then they were both switched over to SmackDown. The brand split theoretically should allow you, to keep guys apart who should be apart. So, yeah, eventually these guys should be on different brands.
All right, so we're all in agreement. Cass is going over here pretty strongly, probably, you would think.
Oh yes, there's no. I mean, anything but a definitive win for. It doesn't have to be like a 2-minute squash, but it should. Like, I think you should take him out post match.
Yeah,
power bomb him off the stage or something like that.
Added heat gives him something to talk about the next night in Raw.
Do we agree? Big Show's probably the next logical opponent for him at like SummerSlam. Because they had teased that.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I hadn't even begun to think about where he was headed next, but that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and Big Show's a guy who, at this stage of his career, makes a lot of sense for him to put someone like Big Cass over.
Yeah. All right, so the Bray Wyatt Seth Rollins match. Not a lot of hype behind this one, in my opinion. It's just kind of there. And these are two guys that have been at the top of the card for, especially Rollins, for a lot of the last couple of years. Wyatt, obviously, recently a world champion. This match just feels really weird to me. I could on a stat card, and I like both of these guys a lot. Just not interested at all. If I had to pick, I guess I'd probably go with Rollins in the match. But honestly, I have no idea who's going to win this match. Justin.
I'm going to go Bray because it's early in the feud, and so he'll go on to lose a bunch. But I do got to point out how much I love the fact that the babyface in a feud is basically arguing for atheism, saying like gods are only in men's heads and stuff. What's that?
And he bled right after. His cheek was bleeding right after. It was a very scary sign right after that promo, yes.
Maybe they learned something from all those surveys they sent out. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm with what Ryan said. I am of all the matches on the show, this is the one I'm looking forward to the least. It just feels like two guys near the top of the card they don't have anything else to do with, so let's just have them have a match. I actually hope this is a one and done. I don't want to see these two feud anymore.
I agree. I'm hoping it's one and done too. All right, let's go to that.
I don't know. Justin, who did you pick? Who did you pick, Justin?
He picked Bray. He thinks they're going to have a series. Yeah.
Bray.
I just want to be tortured for another couple months.
God, I just feel like
for
Bray
punishment.
Can't lose again. Like, what do you do? Like? I mean, I've beaten the drum of him how badly they need to turn him babyface, but if they're not going to do that, God, he's got to win.
By conventional booking, you would think so, but like the way Bray Wyatt's been booked his entire career, it's like, yeah, just beat him. That's just what they're going to do.
The thing is, like, what makes me think this is going to continue is, what do you do with Rollins after this? Like, he's not going to be in the title picture. They had been teasing that Finn. Whatever happened to Finn Balor break?
That's what I was gonna say, because that has never been followed up on.
Yeah,
right, the injury,
and
which happened at SummerSlam last year. So that could give him direction.
Finn is currently
Seth is the one guy who really doesn't have anything waiting in the wings.
Go ahead, Justin. What'd you say?
Oh, I'm just saying that Finn is currently in what will be the hottest feud of the year.
With the Drifter.
Oh yeah,
the highlight of Monday Night Raw. One of the top 3 highlights of Monday Night Raw every week is the Drifter. If you don't agree, you're wrong, you guys. I'm sorry.
They need to stop cutting off his songs. They need to let him sing to get the heat. They cut him off too much.
So there was some talk that match might be added to Great Balls of Fire, but so far not.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's the pre-show, I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it's on the pre-show or if they just do it on Raw Monday night. In this day and age, that just doesn't matter, to be honest with you. The result's going to be the same, Finn winning clean, you would think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's been no talk of that or Goldust R-Truth. I keep waiting, looking every day, or something like waiting for, hey, pre-show match added or this match just added to the pay-per-view. And it hasn't. Neither of them have been.
Shit, I hadn't even thought about that. That sucks. Yeah, Goldust and R-Truth deserve to be on there.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, for a B show, this is a pretty lengthy card. I mean, they got 8 matches announced. So,
and one of them, and this is what it raised my eyebrow initially, and I was like, wow, were they going to leave stuff off? Is the tag team match is 30 minutes?
Yep, Iron Man tag team match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brock Joe is going to go as long as your standard main event, but still.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the direction is for either of these guys in the coming months either. I would like to see Rollins and Balor feud, but yeah, we'll see.
Do we even care?
I would care if it was Balor Rollins. But otherwise, yeah, Rollins has really lost a lot of steam over the last 6 months to 6 to 9 months, I would say.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the Triple H thing worked. I mean, it seemed like he had steam coming off WrestleMania, and then he just kind of, he did the thing with Joe. He's the only guy who beat Joe. But yeah, I mean, it's like a thing where they just haven't given us a compelling reason these two are feuding. Like, I don't really know why they're feuding.
Yeah, I'm just going back to like last fall when on the podcast we were talking about how his run as a babyface just wasn't really working, even at that point. And you're right, he did around the time with the feud with Triple H, he got a little bump, but overall it's been downward for him as a character, I think. IC title match. All right. One of the MVPs of Raw outside of the Drifter is definitely The Miz. The entire time Top Rope Nation has existed, The Miz has been on top of his game. And he is defending against Dean Ambrose yet again. These two are wrestling. So speaking of a feud that needs to be over, here's one. What'd you guys think, by the way, of that match with Heath Slater on Monday night? I guess, Justin, you didn't see it. Kyle, what'd you think?
It was good. I mean, they actually got me to believe that there was a chance they might switch the title.
Yeah, I thought that was a very good television match. Yeah. So, I don't know. Miz Ambrose, I'm going to let you guys pick first this time. I think The Miz, well, I'll pick. I think The Miz is probably going to retain. Thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I think it's a lock. These two have great chemistry. I mean, as much as like this feud seems like it's gone on all year, which it pretty much has, these two do have really great chemistry. I think it really helps Ambrose feuding with The Miz, like, because I don't know what is next for, they were teasing a feud with him and Drifter that kind of didn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So, and if they just beat the Drifter with Finn, I don't really know how great that is for him. But yeah, Miz, to me, it's not as big a lock as Big Cass, but it might be the second biggest lock on the show. Miz, absolutely, all the way.
Yeah, I agree. Miz, and I am so over doing this feud, although I do agree with Kyle that they have a lot of in-ring chemistry. I just hope that Miz wins because the name of the pay-per-view really comes into play, and LeVar and Lonzo run out and help him. Great balls of fire, man.
How about, by the way, your boy Lonzo Ball ixnaying getting the old Stone Cold Stunner? You read about that?
I didn't even read about that, no.
Yeah, because I thought for sure that's what they were going, because the day of that Raw, they had reported, and they, I think, were selling them the Los Angeles 316 shirts, and everyone's like, oh, Austin's going to show up tonight. And he was there. Mm-hmm. And they did propose to LeVar Ball that he would go on one of his big spiels, and he would take the stunner. Austin would come out. And it made a lot of sense because, LeVar Ball, this is a guy who claims he could beat Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one, which is ridiculous. So I was like, all right, they'll throw LeVar out there. He'll be like, I could beat all the WWE superstars. I could beat The Rock. I could beat Steve Austin. And Austin would come out and stun him. And I thought that would be kind of great. But LeVar just wanted to take his shirt off. And he kind of looked like Killer Khan when he was doing that kung fu. Was I the only one who thought that?
I didn't think of that at the time, but I see it now.
With the face he was making, I was like, he really looks like Killer Khan.
I mean, they got the Sports Center highlights they were looking for, but yeah, with Austin, it would have been a lot better. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see why, if you're a celebrity, you're not going to come on some TV show and get your ass kicked.
I mean, outside of Los Angeles, doesn't pretty much the entire sports world hate the balls? Well, I should have phrased that a little bit differently, but I don't think I think they have a lot of heat. I don't think people really like them. If they had an approval rating, they weren't below Donald Trump. So let me put it that way.
That was what was crazy to me. They weren't even over in the building. I thought they included Lonzo just to ensure they'd be baby faces, but don't think there were a lot of Laker fans in that arena that night.
So, I mean, they want Dean Ambrose on the Big Baller brand now. I mean, is that really what you want to propose for a babyface, since his family's not particularly well liked?
No follow up on that. There will be zero follow up on that.
Yeah, I know, but I just thought the line was kind of weird for a babyface. Yeah, what do we think? What do you think of the Miz Taraj, by the way?
Great. I would prefer that to be the new Wyatts, but I guess they're promoting a movie.
Mm-hmm. At least it gives Axel and Bray's younger brother something to do.
They it's funny what they did at the timing of it, because when Mike and Maria came out on SmackDown, which was like right before they went this Miz Taraj route, I was like, people who aren't familiar with this act, and that's a lot of people, are going to be like, what is this, like the poor man's Miz and Maurice? And, Meltzer, I think, wrote about it. By the way, our condolences to Dave for his father. And he mentioned that, yeah, WWE recognized this, and they're like, well, we got to like kind of change up the thing with, give Miz some flunkies, just so it's not kind of a copycat thing. And I talked about, that was a big problem with the first brand extension, that they would just copy things on this brand to brand.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I agree. I think our new Wyatt family might be more intriguing, but God, we've been hoping for that for so long and seen nothing. So
I just want Bray Wyatt as a babyface. There's so many people I want to turn babyface. Kevin Owens should turn babyface.
Oh man, especially I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard the DVD is pretty damn good.
Yes,
coming out on his career.
And I've talked to people who would matter before about Kevin Owens' heel shtick, and we're all like, "Yeah, what a great heel Kevin Owens is." I'm not gonna. I love Kevin Owens, but if you kind of like examine it, the heel stuff Kevin Owens does very much gets him over as a babyface with a certain segment of the crowd. Like when he just like rips on Byron Saxton or something like that. He's like, "You tool, Byron! Like, shut up!" Like. Yeah. Okay, like in 1984, that was a heel move, but in 2017, there's a lot of people like, yeah, that's cool, that's sweet, So he kind of, I would hate to see them. What's the word I'm looking for? White meat him, white meatify him if he did turn babyface, and eventually everybody turns, so he'll turn eventually. But honestly, they could just make some very small, minor adjustments to that character, and he'd be, I think, a tremendous babyface.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he's kind of, he has that like cool heel thing, like Steve Austin did 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I always guard against people going too far with comparisons. I mean,
I certainly don't think he's at the Steve Austin level, but the same kind of response.
It is funny, kind of think because like Austin was kind of like that in right before he turned, where he was very amusing, like kind of just ripping everyone.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the women's title match. All right, and this is probably going to spin off into a little bit of a conversation on Bayley, who has been just a disaster now.
Talking about that,
I think she's going to come into the conversation in this match just based on what happened with her on Monday night. So Alexa defending against Sasha.
Just me doing coke, Justin. Don't worry about it.
Put those $100 bills away, Kyle. We're on the air.
I thought it was just your Ultimate Warrior interview impression.
Yeah. R.I.P.
All right. So before we get to the winner here, so Alexa's defending against Sasha. Sasha and Bayley teamed in a tag team match on Monday night against Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. And Bailey was like pushed through a ringside barrier. They went to a commercial. They came back. She'd basically been hauled off, and she never came back out. So do we think that they're finally going to pull the trigger with some kind of like crazy Bailey turn here, where she's going to come out and cost Sasha the match and say, you know, you didn't help me on Monday night. You didn't protect me on Monday night. Now she's taking out her revenge. Because where else could they possibly be going with this terrible Bailey booking? It has to flip at some point, don't you think? Kyle?
Look,
I saw you nodding, so.
No, I was actually just trying not to sneeze. But all right. Yes, it is going to play in. They have not given up / forgotten on the Bailey Sasha turn. And I agree that's what they should do. You bring up a very interesting point, because obviously the original idea, and the idea that most people would have thought, was that Sasha would be the heel in that dynamic. But man, you know, at first, you know, it was about a year ago or so. What month is this? July? It wasn't quite a month ago. But when we first started doing the podcast, right, I remember we were like, you know, this Sasha Price, she's not great at cutting babyface promos. Her futures as a heel. Well, lo and behold, man, it's July 6, 2017 when we're recording this. She's probably more over as a babyface than Bailey on the main roster. And by probably, I mean definitely. So the idea that Bailey could be the heel here isn't out of the question. But man, I'll believe it when I see it. Alexa's definitely retaining, though. I think we agree on that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Alexa Bliss and Bailey gets a heel turn, are you paranoid she's going to steal your heat? I mean, we don't really know how Bailey's going to do as a heel.
No, I mean, I don't think that. No, because they're going to do Bailey and Sasha would feud, and then Alexa's clearly going to feud with Nia Jax. Like, they've been teasing that. Like, Nia Jax is going to be a babyface and feud with Alexa. There's no dispute denying that.
Yeah. Justin, who do you see going over here?
You know, I haven't really been into this feud at all, or this story. So I'll just go with Alexa Bliss. But you guys, I didn't even like thought about a Bailey turn, and that's actually pretty intriguing. Although I'm with Kyle, I'll believe it when I see it.
I just feel like it has to be coming, because they can't.
No,
they cannot think that this booking is actually going to work with what they've been doing with her.
Well, I mean, they could just hold it off, and I mean, maybe a Sasha heel turn is what they need to get Bailey over as a babyface. There is a concern that Sasha's more over, is the more over of the two as a babyface on the main roster.
Mm-hmm. I think it's coming. I think it's coming and setting up the them fighting at SummerSlam.
Okay. By the way, I thought I saw some people were down on that gauntlet match on Raw 2 weeks ago. What gauntlet? What were you watching? I thought that was great. I thought that was really good and well done. I mean, because everyone was like, "Oh, Bailey gets buried again." It's like, folks, that she wasn't part of the story.
Yeah,
I got some issues with some of these fans online.
I think it's rant time. Let's hear it.
I mean, it's gotten to a point where all right, I'm going to take us back to a dark place, a dark Twitter argument about the women's Money in the Bank, okay? And that whole pay-per-view. So that pay-per-view did have a lot of bad finishes, taken when you combine them as a whole. But there's this sense now where people complain if the WWE doesn't validate their own fantasy booking. And I'll give you a point. Everyone whined about that Carmella thing that night. But no one whined about the fuck finish they did the next match, Usos and New Day, because everyone assumed that was the finish they were going to do. So sick of these fans.
But that's not why they're upset. Is because I think, at least for a lot of females, they were excited for this historic match, and then they kind of gave it to a guy.
Splaining is my second least favorite suffix now in America, only behind gate. When people describe a controversy as gate, forgetting that Watergate was an actual building. It was not a controversy about water.
Yeah, I'm on Justin's side here, though. I think it had more to do with just the imagery of the man going up, and the fact that it was the first women's Money in the Bank match. If this would have happened, Yeah, but that's the
But,
like
the
the
point of
image
wrestling-
left over the match.
The point of wrestling is not to have great matches. I know some people cannot wrap their head around that, but it's not.
That was actually a really good match before the finish. They were having a
I
really
didn't
good
really
match.
think it was. That match, and it has worked so far, was a mechanism to get Carmella over as a heel.
Yeah, I do agree with Kyle there. The main point of wrestling is to get a reaction, and that got a reaction.
Yes.
Although we are definitely heading towards Kyle Gate here.
I think
Fucking
is
Gate.
Kyle faking his sickness. Kyle Gate, 2017.
Sick Gate.
Yeah. No, I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's been weeks. We probably would have talked about it for 45 minutes if we had done a show that week.
Oh, I was ready, man. I was like writing things down. I had like a freaking manifest. I had like the Emancipation Proclamation written, man.
All I'll say, in my opinion on that, is that she could have got the same heel reaction with Ellsworth pushing over the ladder on Becky Lynch, and she climbs up and gets it. And the company acknowledges it, and they've been digging themselves out of the hole for the last 2 weeks on SmackDown because of this. Now, I'm glad that Carmella won the next time out, but I think that was a recognition that they botched the match badly.
No, it was just that was the plan all along.
I think that
they were going to do that match anyway.
You have to tie this in. It's because it was the first match. If it happened the second or third women's match, nobody would have cared. It's the first match. It's the fact that the man was the focal point of the match at the end, and they built this up.
He just worked into the finish,
which is the focal point of the match, what you build towards. The fact that he was so involved in the finish is why people were mad, because they had built this up as a historic moment, and then they didn't let the women stand on their own.
The people were mad that it wasn't like a historically great match.
I thought it was a really good match until that finish,
I actually didn't. I think what they did was way better than had it been a good match. A quote unquote good match.
So what I thought of it and what I tied it to is you have to look at this as like, if you're a female wrestling fan, this is a company that's been so disparaging to women for decades.
Yes, that's very true. I'm not going to deny that.
And so, yet again, they're overshadowed by
the same week. NXT, Raw, and SmackDown all had women's matches as the main events.
Well, I'll just say, look at the booking on SmackDown since, and I think they pivoted. I think they recognize.
No way, man. That's exactly what they were going to do.
Well, I think they recognize an error.
Hey, lady listeners out there, at TRP Kyle, let them know.
Let's go to a match that no one's probably going to have that strong of an opinion on.
Your wife doesn't count.
Dressed like that, Kyle. Dressed like that.
Believe it or not, I'm actually married.
All right. No one's going to get all bent out of shape about this match. Tozawa and Neville for the Cruiserweight title.
Well, I'm livid.
I don't buy it. I'm going to add that to the list of Kyle Gate conspiracies.
Yeah.
I don't buy that you're livid about this match.
I'll tell you what, though. Who was the first guy on the Top Rope Nation podcast to invest in the Titus brand? The Titus brand is great.
I thought I was right there with you. I think I was right there with you.
Hey, you're an early investor too. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Titus brand is fantastic.
I bought the $400 Titus brand shoes.
Yeah. How funny is it that the Titus brand may be what finally gets the cruiserweights over?
Could happen.
Yeah.
I know Abby Arthur was probably disappointed when Tozawa joined the Titus brand.
She shouldn't have. I mean, this guy is, they're going international.
Am I the only one who would am all for a super long Neville cruiserweight reign? But I really wouldn't mind seeing Tozawa win the title, not on the pre-show, but if this builds to an eventual Tozawa win, I think that would work.
We all thought Aries was going to be like the guy to because that was kind of the Aries Neville feud was kind of the first compelling feud this division has had. And it does kind of feel like this shouldn't, I don't know if it's the time or the place to change the title quite yet. I'm all for building toward it, but Neville, man, look, no one's been more critical of this division than me. I think it's generally been an atrocity.
Critical of something?
Yes, believe it or not. But man, is this Neville good in that championship role? He's really good, and I don't think they've built strongly enough to a change to do it quite yet. Although, man, are the cruiserweights going to be lost in the shuffle at SummerSlam? So you can't really do it there either.
I just want to point out, Whole Truthy in our live chat threw out the term Ballsgate. So perhaps if there's a if there's a finish that goes down that we are very unhappy with here at Great Balls of Fire, will be known as Ballsgate.
That sounds like the worst party ever.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I do think there is a legit chance that Neville could drop the title here because they are pushing the Titus brand thing.
But man, wait, but King Neville not on the pre-show. There's no way. Not on the
show, is it?
That's how it's listed. That's how it's listed on Wikipedia.
Oh, well, if it's on Wikipedia, it must be true.
Exactly.
I hadn't heard that this was going to be on the pre-show.
Well, that'll determine it then. I mean,
okay,
if it's on the main show, I could definitely see a title change. But if it's on the pre-show, I think that would be an absolute horrid move.
Somebody brought up a good point on Twitter, and I want to run this by you because it actually was like, if you think about it, I think it was a good point. It was Greg Parks over at the Torch. That the allure of the Titus brand is that they kind of like, it's kind of like a big inside joke, right? Like, it's not like really this awesome brand that's taking over the WWE. It's just like Titus O'Neil thinks he's sweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Like, if the gimmick started winning, like, would that kind of make it just like, whatever? Like, isn't the allure of the gimmick that it's kind of like a joke? In a regard, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he almost thought like them having a title would be kind of like kill, the allure of the gimmick.
I think it's a way to build it, but I don't think that is sustainable.
You're right. After a while,
they got to win.
They don't win anything. But yeah. If they don't ever win anything, then then what's the point? But yeah.
Kyle, are you telling me you didn't think Apollo Crews was going to go over Braun Strowman on Monday night?
But that was a cool little squad. What a bump he took, by the way.
Yeah, that was
amazing. By the way, with this Titus brand thing, Apollo Crews is way more over than he ever was pre-Titus brand. Titus Worldwide, I should say.
That's a pretty small.
It's a low bar. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah.
I mean, given that he was regularly not on SmackDown when he was part of that brand, but I mean, it's helped Apollo a lot.
I would say the same for the Power of Tozawa.
Yes. It absolutely helps Tozawa being affiliated with this.
Well, I'm in agreement. If this is on the pre-show, there's no way Neville is losing. But going in, depending on where it's on the card, I could see a switch happening. But I'll say Neville holds on at least till SummerSlam. Tag title match, 30-minute Iron Man match, Hardys and Cesaro and Sheamus. Any deep thoughts on this one, guys, before we get to the main event?
Looking forward to it. I love the idea of a tag team Iron Man match. I'm scared that Hardys might be a little old to hold up their end of the bargain, especially against two studs in Sheamus and Cesaro. But looking forward to them nonetheless. And I am going to go with Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar.
What a team they are, this Cesaro and Sheamus. What a great team. If you're mapping out the Raw tag title picture, like long term, you probably think Hardys get it back at some point, and then it goes to the Revival, right? I think that's what most reasonable minds would conclude with this division.
Well, it seems like the broken Matt stuff is coming pretty soon.
Well, I don't know. There's been conflicting reports that they're not close, and so you would probably want to do the character change before. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say,
okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a title change here. And plus, you can do something fluky with the Iron Man. This is the first tag team Iron Man match on TV, right?
First tag team Iron Man match, yes.
Yeah. I think somebody had tweeted out, historyofwwe.com, it might have been.
Great website, by the way.
Yes, great website. That
friend of the pod. Friend of the pod.
Oh, okay, great.
That does the site, yes.
The Rockers and the Rougeaus did Iron Man matches back in '89. I haven't seen those. I saw some of the matches they'd done in like England and France. They're really good. But I'd love to get a hold of that.
If this was going to be a 30-man Iron Man with Sheamus, Cesaro versus the Revival, this would be match of the year. But like I said before, I'm just worried about the Hardys.
Yeah, I'll go Cesaro and Sheamus. All right. So Joe Lesnar is going to tell us a lot about how SummerSlam is going to be structured.
We still have Reigns and Strowman.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, you
forgot over that.
Forgot about our boy.
The yard, man. It's his yard.
Reigns
right,
Reigns with the ultimate heel move. What was it, 2 weeks ago when he had his big SummerSlam announcement? The last pay-per-view, he loses a 5-way match for a title shot. He just shows up in Raw and declares he's going to get a title shot. Amazing work.
Yeah, this match to me is 50-50 because we all thought Strowman was getting the match with Lesnar, but now there's been some reports that it could be Reigns Lesnar at SummerSlam. So this could go either direction.
And then there's a lot of people like myself, spoiler alert, who think they really should do a second Reigns Joe or a Lesnar Joe match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So these top two matches are really tied together.
Yeah, definitely. So, I would rather, as much as I like Braun Strowman, if they're dead set on this Brock Reigns match, I would rather it happen sooner than happen at WrestleMania. I'd rather them just get it over with. So if they're really set on that, I want to see Reigns beat Brock for the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And if that's the story, obviously we got to have Reigns go over here. Justin.
I agree with you that I definitely want to see Reigns and Lesnar sooner rather than later. I don't need an absentee Lesnar to hold on to the title for another however many months till WrestleMania. But the thing is we can still get that and Strowman get a win because it's an ambulance match. There's ways to work around making Reigns bad. So it might be the perfect match for this. Actually, I'm going Strowman.
Yeah, I agree with what Justin said. With the gimmick, it's kind of like with the Iron Man. You can do a funky finish where you're not beating the heel or the baby face clean. I think I'd read something today that right now people believe that it's going to be Lesnar and Strowman at SummerSlam.
Yeah, well, I think Strowman's the more logical option. But it's all going to depend on what that title match is, and I don't think we know for sure.
And I completely agree with what you said, Ryan, at first, and then Justin doubled down on that. I would rather them just do Lesnar Reigns sooner than later too, because this whole drawn out coronation thing, man, that backfires sometimes,
especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time away. I would rather see them do Reigns Cena at WrestleMania. That's the match.
Yeah, the crowd, when Cena came back Tuesday night and he mentioned wrestling Roman Reigns, he went through the list of the guys he wants to work with. And, man, by the way, thinking about him having matches with some of those guys, pretty interesting stuff. I'd like to see John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah.
I could see them doing that for sure.
Well, and that's the thing with, I want Reigns and Lesnar now because I would prefer Lesnar, Strowman, and Cena Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Are we all in agreement that Lesnar needs to drop the belt at SummerSlam?
Yes.
And we all pretty much think Joe has no shot to win it Sunday.
Unfortunately.
Would love to see them do, I was in a discussion this morning on Twitter where a lot of people were saying do a ground zero finish. Another 1997 reference there. Shawn Michaels Taker, the match. That's way overlooked. It's a really good match.
September 1997 in your house.
Yeah, I think it was the last in your house where they used the house set, I believe.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It set up the Hell in a Cell match the following month, and nobody cared that it went to a non-finish because it was just like such a wild match. The dynamic here is slightly different because that was just Shawn bouncing around like a ping pong ball for Taker, but man, Joe has earned the opportunity for this feud to go longer. Like people would tolerate, like if you put this in the middle of the card and did the non-finish, which clearly signals to people, okay, they're going to work again in a gimmick match or something, and you could do Reigns Strowman last, I think people are cool with that. I think they would be. I don't think they're going to, though, because as I thought about this, there is a fly in the proverbial ointment here. Elephant in the room. I almost got my metaphors mixed up there. You caught that, didn't you, Justin? Lesnar's dates. They said he was going to work more this year, but he's still got that fixed number of dates. And if they've got certain matches already in mind, it's hard to extend programs with him. It's hard to say, well, this feud's worked a lot better than we thought it will, so let's just extend it. And Brock, Brock's going to just work an additional date. Obviously, he's working SummerSlam regardless, but they've got to do the Strowman match. They probably have to do the Finn Balor match at some point.
I doubt that.
I still think they're going to do it at some point. Man, they got 4 Raw's got 4. Make it 6 pay-per-views between SummerSlam and the end of the year. Pardon me, 3.
Meds kicking in, Kyle.
God, I wish they were. No, they have 3. And then there's 6 total pay-per-views between the two brands because they each have one in September, they each have one in October, they each have one in December. So they have 3. They have 1 per month, but you got to figure Lesnar will be on one of those, right? And then there's Rumble.
Yeah, and because of the whole dates thing, that's exactly why I think him and Joe is a one-off, and that's why I just hope they put on a solid match. That it's not a typical Brock Lesnar Suplex City. Let these guys go for 20 minutes.
The template's there from Brock Goldberg at Mania.
Yeah, and that was only like 6 minutes.
Yeah, this should not be a long match. I like the idea of doing a nonstop big move match that's sub 10 minutes. I actually watched somebody on YouTube, I won't put their name up because then these people get in trouble, had a file of matches, great sub 10-minute matches. If you can find it, it's a real hoot.
Well, I just think this just shows how it's too bad Brock Lesnar is on this part-time deal, because we knew it would be good. It's been even better than we thought. Samoa Joe is a star. They should have signed this guy a decade ago.
Yes, it's fun. And I'll be the first. I wrote it in one of my last TV reviews I did for the site. I said, let's temper our enthusiasm, sports fans. This isn't the Samoa Joe of 05, 06. It may not be the dream match we all think. I was wrong. I mean, this has been Joe's best work since like 05, 06.
Who do you guys think he deserves to go against at WrestleMania? I know this is relatively off topic, but I was just thinking about the WrestleMania card earlier this week, and I couldn't find a good opponent for Joe.
That's just too far away. I feel
far away.
Yeah, who knows what
Strowman? I don't know.
Roster.
I feel he's going to work Reigns at SummerSlam because he's beaten Reigns twice now.
That'd be an awesome match.
Yeah. I feel if it's Strowman Lesnar, then it's going to be Reigns Joe, I feel. I could be wrong, but.
So, yeah, these 2 matches at the top of the card here are really going to determine SummerSlam then, because it's kind of interchangeable. The parts are for SummerSlam.
Should they? Okay, forget about what they will do. Should they do a non-finish in Lesnar Joe and then do a rematch at SummerSlam? Should they?
That all depends on numbers.
I mean, I was going to say that it kind of proves that how well Samoa Joe has done in this feud. We all agree Strowman's been awesome. He deserves to beat Brock for the title. We all know that Reigns possibly at some point is going to beat Brock for the title. But my God, if you're watching TV, Samoa Joe makes the best case for the guy to beat Brock Lesnar for the title right now, just based on his performances. And I don't think it's going to happen at a B pay-per-view like this. So to answer your question, yes, I think so. And then he would go over at SummerSlam. Do I think it's going to happen? No, probably not going to happen.
Okay, see, I actually would not put Joe over.
Of course you wouldn't.
But I just think that this feud's hot and people are into it, and they just shouldn't kill it like this.
Kyle thinks the ambulance match should finish with Ellsworth running out and throwing Strowman into the ambulance.
Oh, that would be great.
I think Strowman's going to win that match, and Strowman's going to win the match. Roman Reigns is going to come out the next night, big smile on his face, kissing babies on the way to the ring, and declare he is the #1 contender.
And I'd love every minute of it.
I know you would.
I'd love every minute of it. Well, no, here's the reason why I say I wouldn't have Joe beat Lesnar, because you do know the end game here. We all just know it. I mean, it's just the way it is Reigns is the one who's going to beat Lesnar. They're not going to beat Brock Lesnar until Reigns does it.
And just do it next month.
I would agree with that.
Yes, please God, make it happen.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they're going to, though. I think they're going to stick with their kind of original plan, and they're going to do Lesnar Strowman at SummerSlam, because they teased that the night after Mania.
It's true. Well, I think it's going to be a hell of a card. I think it's going to be a good show. I think we've actually, a lot of these brand exclusive shows have been pretty damn good, but I think this card stacks up quite well, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's as well built as, I mean, you compare it certainly with the first brand split. There's no comparison, really. This is way better. They've done a lot better job with this brand split, I got to say, than they did the first time. That thing lost steam real quick.
Oh, man.
And they also didn't have a clue what they were doing at first.
Maybe they actually learned from the past for once.
What a promotion.
All right. Well, we're going to get to this interview here in a second with Carrie Morris. But before I sign off here with Justin and Kyle, I want to mention that we will not have a show next week, but we probably will be back the following week, towards the end of the week, with a new show. So I know we were off 3 weeks. Travel schedules are not going to work next week. We're not going to be able to have a show unless Kyle and Justin decide to do a show on their own. Maybe I'll put that on the radar. It could happen. I don't know. If they do a show on their own, guys, it's only going to be on YouTube. I won't be able to get the audio up for them next week. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/C/Top Rope Press. All right, or just search Top Rope Press on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. If you think there's a chance those two could hold the show next week, that would be entertaining, you guys. I would.
Ballsgate would look like child play if just me and Kyle run the show.
I will be on vacation, and I might even tune in just to see it on my cell phone.
By the way, we really can't. We really, that's a tough transition, bitching about Lesnar's schedule, and then like, oh yeah, well, you know.
Hey, we have been very adamant though for like pretty much the last 11 months show every single week. We haven't. Yes, I know we're in like in the mid 40s. The show is not quite a year old. I think the first official show was at the end of July last year. So
okay,
all right. So this is like episode 43 or 44 or something like that.
Thinking of that Eric Bischoff quote on that first Nitro, that Rebirth Nitro. It's nice to see you guys showed up to work today.
Well, it's a good show. Good to see you guys this week.
Oh, same.
Love you guys.
All right, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks for sure. Let me get to this interview with friend of the pod, Carrie Morris. I think you'll enjoy this interview. He will be live this Sunday at Great Balls of Fire, so we're going to get his take on the show here real quick. If you watch WWE pay-per-view, I am sure you are familiar with him, as we are going to talk about here just in a second. So let's get to the interview.